Meantime, the reconciliation process between suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike appears to be resonating with many in Rivers State. For the Rivers Women Unite for Sim, a pro-Fubara group, it is a prayer answered, hence the women are currently having a Thanksgiving program in appreciation of the return of peace to the state. Rivers Women Unite for Sim group stood out for their persistence in the demand for the return of democratic rule in Rivers State since the declaration of emergency rule in the state on the 18th of March 2025. Chetam Thierry Nwala joins me now to share his thoughts on recent political developments in Rivers State. Chetam is a lawyer and activist and a stakeholder in Rivers State's politics. Chetam, thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
All right, let's begin with the year's view on peace deal between, of course, Governor Fubara and Minister Wike. What's your view on that?
Well, for some of us, we have viewed the issue of the reconciliation. We have mixed feelings about the reconciliation because, like I have always said, that the reconciliation in Rivers State today it's not necessarily in the best interest of Rivers people, because one, Rivers people were not consulted. Secondly, Rivers people, when you look at the whole dispute between the FCT minister and the governor, you definitely discover that the whole fight has been about the resources of Rivers State and how to share the resources of Rivers State. That has been the central point of the quarrel. It's not even it is not how to protect the best interest of the average Riversman. It's all about resource control. So the reconciliation which we see that the president oversee and made sure that they were able to reconcile was just the president assisted them on how to share our resources. So not like it is developmentally driven. It was not actually. It was just the FCT minister wanted to control it. Remember him saying that the governor has taken over his structure and there is a fight for him to regain back the structure. What is the structure? Resources of Rivers State. And it's sad that this whole issue of godfatherism has now returned back to the state. It's something that we should all frown out. It's something that is actually sad. Yes, it's unfortunate that the president had to go ahead to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, which some of us had condemned right from the beginning of this whole thing, because we feel that there was no need to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State at the time the president did, because the Supreme Court at that time had settled all the political impasses within Rivers State. However, the president did not actually give heed to even the Supreme Court decision, but went ahead, declared a state of emergency, suspended an elected governor and an elected House of Assembly, which is unheard of, which is something we have never seen in this particular nation, and we also believe is unconstitutional, because the president does not have any constitutional power to so suspend an elected governor or the elected House of Assembly. And he went ahead to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, which has destroyed the economy of Rivers State. Some of us see naturally on the face value, we want to look at the reconciliation to mean that Rivers State will be restored back to democracy, and not just democracy, that our economy will start to pick up again. But sadly, when you look at the intention of the major players, you discover that their intention has nothing to benefit the average Riversman on the street. It is just about their personal interest, their individual interest that they are pushing. And that this is actually sad. So for us, it comes with a mixed feeling. And there's not so much of an excitement for us, because it is just a return to what we have always seen, the godfatherism and one man trying to control the entirety of the state.
Now, you said there's no excitement on your end, and probably that might be the case of some people in Rivers State. But what impact do you think this reconciliation will have, especially when it comes to politics and governance in Rivers State?
Well, to be honest with you, for the past how many years now, say 10 years, we've not really had what looks like governance in Rivers State. What we have all continued to have is jamboree. Of course, from the 8 years of Wike's administration down to the about 2 years now of the Sims administration, all we have seen is jamboree, politics, politics, and politics. We have not really seen leadership. We have not really seen that governance. So I can tell you for free that we are returning back to the political era again. So for us, we are not anticipating any change to the affairs of the average Riversman on the street. Of course, when you see in Rivers State today, for roads to be awarded, it is based on politics. For whatever thing to be done, it's based on politics. It is not based on the genuine needs of the people. It's not based on needs assessment. But what we have seen is everything is born out of politics and not governance. So I wouldn't be shocked because the governor has returned back to his godfather, who wanted him to be a puppet or to act as a puppet. And what do you expect? The governor is going to repeat the same thing, and is going to do whatever it is in the whims and caprices of his godfather. And that's exactly what you're going to be seeing in Rivers State. You won't find anything that has to do with governance or that is related to governance in Rivers. Some of us are not anticipating it because we know the antecedent of these men. We know how they operate. We know how they have carried on the states over time. But it's also sad that the president allowed such a thing to befall Rivers State, all because of his 2027 election. And some of us, this is very, very, very unacceptable for us, that you cannot put your personal ambition above the interest of a state like Rivers State. And it is sad that the president was beclouded or has been beclouded by his ambition for 2027 to get a re-election. So the hands of the governor was also hand-twisted to make sure that he accepted the draconian terms that was given to him by both the president and the FCT minister. And we said there is peace. What is peace without freedom? What is peace when you will be controlled by the same man that created the same problems, the issues that led us into this crisis has not been removed. They are still there within us, which is the issue of resource control. Handing over the entire resources of Rivers to Nyesom Wike to control and to determine how it is being expended. It is really a sad situation, but sadly, that is what we have found, where we have found ourselves today.
So do you think this peace deal, just in some kind of way, do you think it can translate into any real unity or maybe some level of improved governance in Rivers State?
Well, as for unity, of course, I can tell you as of today that a lot of the supporters of the governor are quite angry with the decision taken by the governor, because some of them feel that the governor has thrown them under the bus and he never negotiated for them, and their interests were not also protected when it comes to the negotiations. Now, that is beyond the interest of Rivers. We are talking about the supporters of the governor. This is how they feel. So definitely you will see a united front between the minister and the governor. But the big question is, will this also bring unity in the hearts of, or peace in the hearts of the average Riversman or supporters of the governor? I can tell you for free that you can't find it, because one of the things that this reconciliation between the governor and the minister did not also envisage was the disagreement that happened at the local government levels. There are some local government chairmen, that some persons who became local government chairmen under this particular crisis before the Supreme Court dissolved the local governments again, that today you don't expect them to return back to their former leaders just the way it is. There's supposed to be some level of negotiation, but of course they can't get it, because with the arrangement the governor has done, what the governor did was to return everything back to the old status quo of the minister controlling the structure and determining everything without considering the new dynamic that has played in most of these local governments. So I can tell you for free that most of these persons are very disgruntled about what has happened, and they cannot actually join. So I don't see a lasting peace in the long run. I don't see a lasting peace. I see some persons falling out with the governor and going on to actually carry on with their own activities and their own affairs.
All right, many thanks to you, Chetam Nwala, for having this conversation with us.